We're in.
Hey everyone, welcome to Fistful of Darkness, episode 3. It has been a few weeks since we have been here with the holidays and everything going on. So, just a quick recap before we get into today's session. Our wonderful posse headed into town, into Mudwater, to go ahead and set up a trap for the remaining twin Horatio to go ahead and end that feud. On their journey into town, they went ahead and came across a pack of giant Hellstone mutated scorpions that went ahead and they made quick work of. Heading back into town, they checked out the sheriff's office where Munroe found a secret compartment and a hidden journal inside the desk. Back outside, Horatio set up a high noon standoff situation and decided to bring in a mercenary, one of the name is Cyrus, that is a rival of Nero. During this standoff, Munroe tried to cajole or posture best he could, meanwhile all sweating underneath his hat. Hopefully nobody noticed.
Mm-hmm.
Ezra sniping across a rooftop of one of the buildings, and Kona garnering the attention, hopefully, of Cyrus to separate him from Horatio. A shot is fired from Ezra, being whispered to by the Black Rider to become a voice in his head, changing the perspective of Horatio into that of his brother. All the meanwhile, Cyrus scooping up Nero and heading out of town, realizing that his bounty and fortunes have changed. During that ride out of town and out into the desert, Nero has a conversation with their rival, making a statement along with the I can have you lose your soul, but I've already lost mine. Then then pulling out the one piece of Hellstone that they found in the dead sheriff's hand last episode, or actually the first episode. Nero presses it to the horse to see what would happen, and suddenly the steed beneath them change and shift, becoming an aspect of brimstone. The rider atop appearing as a demon. And that is where we left off.
Oh, goody.
So getting into today's episode, you all are standing in town. And Horatio is dead. Crowd is cheering.
Oh, they're happy. Good. Maybe there's hope for your re-election yet there, Ray.
Yeah, we get rid of some outlaws, so the shopkeepers are happy. Law and order back in town, yeah. Sheriff Munroe, yes.
That's one word for it.
Yeah.
Aunt Polly standing at the back of the crowd. Well, well, well. Now I do declare you are a fine example of law and order in this town, there, Charles.
Yes, thank you very much, ma'am. It is our pleasure to oblige.
Kona rolls her eyes visibly.
I am looking forward to more fine examples of such drastic measures. Though I do happen to wonder, why did you let the child get taken?
Monroe's gonna look around.
We're all gone.
Well, they did slight oversight on our part. Are they really gone?
I sure do hope that this lapse in judgment ain't something that we are going to have to consider regarding our own children. Then again, you can't even seem to figure out where the one you borrowed is. In regards to our mutual arrangement there, Charles, I believe you and I have some unfinished business we can address after you find your charge.
Monroe's lower lip is just kind of twitching, but he's got a twirl mustache, so you just kind of see him kind of bouncing up. That's Rob Bali. I suppose ain't nothing to this town but debts and blasted children running away.
The town is definitely full of debts, but she just kind of looks you over a little bit, kind of like readjusts the star on your vest. Some of which are, I'm certain, delighted to be repaid. She'll just go ahead and smile and then saunter on off.
If Kona overheard that, she's probably like wondering, like, what about what kid? What? What's that about, Charles?
The child. Are they really gone? And Charles is going to spend the next several minutes just going around like he lost his pair of keys, kind of going around Mudwater and the square, just kind of looking under every plank and like just trying to see where this kid might have got off to.
Yeah, Kona was very worried, I think, after she tried to speak to the horse. And so she's like, probably already checked. She's like, oh, he's not over there. Oh, come on, Charles. No, not in your underwear drawer. You know? And and she's like, but maybe they'll come back. Maybe they're on their way back. I can only hope. The wind spoke to me, said that they're in trouble. I did my best to speak back, but I think I said the wrong words. It's not your fault. She tries to kind of comfort you, but also be poking at you as well.
Yeah, Ezra is still on the rooftop. He has an disorientated face, trying to figure out which voice is speaking in his head, and if it's changed somehow. It seems a bit odd that, and then he's pulling himself together and trying to look beyond the crowd and the city to see if he can make something out from the rooftop where Tree is gone. If he can spot them, and I don't think that he sees anything, and then he will slowly climb down from the rooftop and try to check his horse if it's still doing fine. But what you can see is he's still a bit disorientated, a bit off.
That will pass in time. The voice seems to almost very deeply coo in your brain.
Paul, is that you? Paul? Come on, stop teasing me. Mom always said you were not allowed to do that. So stop it. Okay.
Yeah. Enough said.
I will
Okay.
say that it will be multiple hours,
Yeah.
and you cannot find Nero anywhere. They seem to be completely gone. And speaking of some of the town folk and whatnot of Mudwater, they all say the same story. Rode out of town.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's when you hear like road out of town, road out of town, road out of town, road out of town, and then Kona's just like, what is out of town that way? She's just like, what is this way? What, you don't know? And they're just like, like more desert, I guess. But I imagine someone mentioned something in that direction. Maybe it's a red herring of sorts, I'm trying to look at the map actually to kind of see what is in that direction that we might have already suspected that they were headed towards. Because we're probably thinking about a plan. Oh, yeah.
I think in the interim, Munroe at first goes, well, ain't no sense worrying about a set of lost keys. It'll come to us when it comes to us. And then that night at the salon, he's just going to get rip-roaring drunk. And as he gets drunk, increasingly upset that they lost Nero. And he's just going to go, no! I failed the child! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! Another one, please.
Yeah. I mean, I think probably a few hours pass, and then you kind of spy like a figure walking towards the town, not even from the direction that they rode out in, right? Like from a completely different direction. And you can kind of tell that Nero's been walking for a very long time, so they kind of know like how to do it so that they don't get tired. And so like the stride is very sure, but at the same time, like you can kind of see on their face that like they've seen some stuff. Like they're definitely like completely shocked and like kind of like shell shocked, right? And I think so. They've still like they're wearing these gloves, right? That they were wearing in order to like handle the Hellstone carefully. And in their hands, I think like they've got like they're still clutching this Hellstone in one hand, and in the other hand they're probably clutching like maybe like the bridle of the horse that Cyrus was riding, right? And they've got like
part of a burned bridle.
Yeah. And like they're holding on to both of these things for dear life, right? You can tell that like they haven't like unclenched their fists maybe since they rode out on that horse, right? And they're just kind of single-mindedly just walking towards the town.
It is getting dark by this hour, but I would say Kona, because you have been very particular in searching for whatever this is, that you would probably be the first one to spot them.
Oh yeah, well, Kona is probably fretfully like thinking, and like looking at a piece of paper and then looking up and looking in the direction as the sun goes down. She's rolled it up and she's just like she's resigned herself to like find this person, and And then as she's thinking this thought, this like inner vow, that's probably when she's gonna see Nero. And I think it's like at first it's like the shadowy like person coming out of the desert that you're just like, who's that? And then they see this like a small figure, right? And then they're like, oh, could it be? You know, there's like a gasp, and then she like, oh, she like as she gets some detail out of the face come through the darkness, she races over, right, excitedly. She's got her weapon kind of like still in her hand, and she's looking around like, are you safe?
Yeah, I think Nero will look at Kona and say, I'm perfectly safe. I can't say that's true of can't say that's true of wherever I was before. And like you can see that like she's that like holding this pair of items in their hands, and maybe now finally now that they see Kona, they're gonna start like kind of like letting them go, and then they're going to look at Kona and like say, where are the others?
She's gonna go this way, and she just kind of like she's like that, and she like looks down at the items that you're like kind of holding, I guess, semi dropping, and she's like, she just doesn't say anything, but she eyes them curiously, and I think she kind of narrows her gaze. She's just like, you can see that like the word "what," as in like what happened out there, you know, it's kind of like on her mind, and she says,
Yeah.
it's not important now. Let's go, right? She's like, they're in, I guess, I guess Charles.
I mean,
Charles'
drunk.
Oh wait, they're getting drunk, right? Yeah, they're in the hostel or whatever. What's the word for that?
Saloon.
Yeah. Is Ezra also with Munroe?
I think
Stefan, you're muted.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think that Ezra is near Kona, looking in the totally false direction to spot Tree, and then when he realized that you're coming back to town, he's just stepping aside one step behind Kona, just not to interfere, but to be ready if something should be done. He's he's looking very. What's failing me? So sorry. Sorrowful, but he's unsure what to do here. He's fiddling with his knife and looking for the weather, but he's not sure what to do about the situation.
Yeah, I think they will look at you, and like you've spent like time in the Burning Lands, right? In the Burning Beyond.
Yeah.
And I think you probably see like an expression on their face that maybe you've only really seen on your face, which is like someone who's like gone through some like literal hell, right? And they look at you and they kind of like hand you the burnt remains of the bridle, and they say, you. Maybe I saw you out there. Maybe I saw an echo or a twin, something. It helped me, I think. Or maybe it... In any case, this is yours. And then like they just hand it to you.
Okay. So that's part of the brittle, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can see that Ezra always has his horse somewhere near him. So the horse is just a few steps away, and you see its bridle, and it's from familiar design. So some carvings are, and he's looking at it, looking at you,
Mhm.
And to open his mouth, want to say something, but cannot, and that may be possible. The Burning Beyond is not like this place. It's everything and nothing. Good that you came back. And you're still young. This is great.
Yeah, I think they will look at you and they will say, but am I still me? How would you know if I went in and someone else came out and the one that went in wasn't? And then I think he'll see Nero kind of just shake their head, and he'll see them probably like try and do the same thought process that he's done loads of times, right? Which is, we're not out there anymore. We're in reality now, right? Like whatever has come back with us, that's actually just all in the mind, or maybe it's not, right?
Yeah.
And I think like he will really kind of see that like they are struggling with some of this, that like the same kind of stuff, right? And then they'll say, suppose the sheriff is getting drunk, is he?
So at this moment, I think Charles is going to stumble outside of the salon, the clickety clack of his spurs uneven, and he's going to stumble out and go to one of the horse troughs, and you just hear zzz and sobbing. Child. As he lets loose the stream, and then he's going to see the three of you walking down Mudwater's main street, and his jaw is just gonna open like a gape, like.
Yep, sheriff's working hard as usual. On a buzz.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I am glad that under my fine leadership, we were able to retrieve the child. Good work, Deputy Ezra, Kona.
I think Nero will look down and then look back up at you and then look down and be like, do you wanna put that away?
Yes. I'm gonna heel over.
Yeah. I think they'll actually, I think they will like kind of like crack a grin at this, because this is the most normal thing that they've seen probably in like the whole day. And it's kind of nice to see Munroe just be Munroe instead of being like, oh, what's happened to you? Are you dead? No, it's just like Munroe being a douche.
If there were any doubt that you're back in reality, this helps a lot.
Yeah.
So I think Ezra looks down at Munroe and said, okay, who of you is the child and who is the sheriff?
No, not the time for riddles.
Ezra, you hear the writer's voice in your head. But which one is honestly the important one? That is the true question. I won't growl since you use the voice, since you're having a hard time understanding. Also, it's hard to do.
So, but this is not really a question for Ezra. He the voice, so I know this already, and he's looking at tree.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at Nero.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, at Nero. And Nero, and just nodding and just going with the child wherever we just going. I don't know, to the sheriff's office probably.
I mean, I think actually, if Munroe's drunk, Nero will say, might be time we meet the ravens on their turf instead of making them come here. I feel like they might have some help to give us, and getting Munroe away from the town might be good for all of us.
I think as you say that, you realize that there is a figure standing in the shadows. Well, Nero will notice more than one. Nero will
Yeah?
notice the first one that kind of steps out, sort of when Munroe has been vomiting, cleansing himself, and then just kind of like reaches down towards Munroe, and it is a shaman of the Thunder Raven tribe. And he just kind of like reaches down, just not touching, but just looking at Munroe. Yes, he does have a lot on his mind. Rest is needed. We have been watching. Come. We have prepared bedding and a meal for your arrival. And as they kind of turn, you can see that there were several others with them that are kind of like standing in the shadows. They kind of like blended into the shadows where there are no street lights or lanterns out.
Mhm.
And as you kind of just like look back, you do see that same figure, that one in the mask, standing on an opposite, several streets down probably, in the shadows, and then is like standing in the light, and then as soon as you notice him, just seems to melt into the background.
Does this seem like... So I imagine that Nero has been hallucinating quite a bit. Does this seem like a hallucination?
Would Nero view it as a hallucination of something they have already seen?
No, it might be a new one though. Yeah, I think like I will kind of peer and then decide that like I cannot, like I need to go to bed because I'm not sure that I'm allowed a stiff drink, and I like one way or another, right? This is not. So I'm going to just deal with what is in front of me. So I think I will say. We would be glad to accept your hospitality and to get away from this place.
Just I want to have one small scene with Ezra and Nero, because just as they say that, he's turning you around a bit, kneeling so that that they're both on eye level, and said, "Okay, this strange feeling when you switch places. Just take it easy. It will pass in time." So, enough.
Yeah. I think like they will kind of like look at you solemnly and say, "I'll speak to you about this when I'm not convinced that I am. Once I know that I've escaped, then we'll talk."
Yeah. So, out of character, I just wanted to rephrase what the writer said to me, and give it to you.
Yeah.
That a private conversation?
Not meant as such. So if you're standing near, I think you won't have a problem hearing that.
But like we wouldn't know what was said by the writer to you. yet. I don't think you've told us. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think in character, we do not necessarily know that like what Ezra is doing is mirroring the advice. But that doesn't like the advice still kind of at least to Nero it feels familiar because it's exactly the kind of thing that like they did in fact need to hear at that moment. So
Yeah. Or maybe when he said that, it's feels like two voices, the same voice, but two voices saying the same
Right.
sentence. So
Right.
there's a little bit of delay, or
okay, yeah.
so, and this is something new, I think.
Yeah. I think I will look at the shaman and say, let us leave. I must speak with you as well.
He nods. Follow. And single file. It is better they don't know our numbers.
Nero looks warily. Nero looks warily at the door around, like, who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nero is definitely like walking exactly behind the shaman and stepping exactly where they step.
You know the enemy of the raven.
I do not believe I do.
It is the octopus. But all of that can wait. Around the fire.
Yes. The fire. Yes. Did anybody bother to bring my horse, or am I still walking? I think like, and this is like definitely Nero being like, look, I got taken away on another horse. Like, have you just like left it back in town, or like have you brought it for me, or am I gonna have to go and get it?
No, I think that someone of us took care of your horse and brought it along.
Right. Yeah. I mean, probably not Munroe, right? But
Kona wouldn't
Yeah,
let
go.
anything happen to the horse while you were gone. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like we get on our horses and then we make for camp.
And again, they all walk single file. And have all of your horses single file. Do you guys maintain walking single file or riding single file?
Nero definitely does.
I see that face, Ray.
I mean,
You're like, do I test this? Do I not? It is Munroe.
I mean, I don't know how you feel about PvP, and I have 0 in command. But like, I'm interested in being in Nero, like trying to command Munroe, drunk as he is, and be like, "You better do this."
I feel like even if he tried to go single file, the state Munroe go left, go right, just kind of.
I just imagine Kona at one point. It just like, that's it, I'm done, and just goes back and takes the reins out of Munroe's hand and just leads the horse. Just like,
yeah.
He's on his horse, like.
No, well, if need be, Kona's the type that she would actually get side with him and like nudge him back in line, and then like be like, "This way, come on," And eventually, yeah, she's just gonna be like, "All right, like it's fine, just take a nap," and she just like leads the horse.
Yeah, lay him across of his horse, or is it that bad?
I've seen like a movie once where somebody was like asleep on their horse, kind of like just being swayed back and forth by the trotting.
I mean, it's probably quite restful actually for where Munroe is right now.
Yeah, we're trying to keep up with people on foot, right? So it's kind of slow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So how long
Ezra,
do you think it takes?
I would like a fortune roll from Munroe, please.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Singled out.
But it's just 1d6, right?
Yeah, let's do that.
Hey,
Ooh,
that's the thing.
Ooh.
What you didn't know, it was a
You-
reverse fortune, Laura.
I'll pull that out later. Don't you worry. You surprisingly stay in the saddle. Even though drunk, you are a professional.
Yeah.
Law and order.
Nice. Yeah.
Put that on your character sheet. Professional drunk.
So,
genau, used to it.
Yeah.
Used to
I
it.
think that's what it is. You're right.
you guys head out towards out of town. A little bit. It's strange because you know where the tribe is located. It's up on the ridge, up on the plateaus above town. But this is not where they lead you. They lead you toward Howling Gulch. Sorry, not Glouch.
Mhm.
Coffee. Still kicking it.
Yep.
They lead you toward Howling Gulch. I can't say the word now. The constant winds and sand almost seeming to blind you guys. It's not like a fog effect or anything. It's just it's very difficult to actually look around with how much wind and dust and sand has been scattered about here. Various trees, the stalactited, mutated cacti, more so bending down low, facing into the winds, as if long fingers trying to reach out to stop it, yet being able to accomplish nothing. They lead you into the canyon, the sound almost becoming deafening at one point. And you can only see the figure directly in front of you. And the figure in front almost seems at one point the poncho thrown open, almost as if wings of an actual raven. And then they vanish into the sands. You guys continue forward. The almost as if there is a slight burst of wind beneath you, a shift, and then suddenly it's silent. It's quiet. And you guys are within a massive plateau, but underground in a cave. Somehow there is this massive uh, open expanse hidden within some of the mountains themselves. How they were created, you don't know. But the wind and everything has completely died down, and there is a massive amount of teepees and tribal members and everyone else all spread out on these plateaus. Some seeming to soar across the skies. And as you notice, their ponchos and everything seeming to almost have some sort of creation on it, as if they can flex and cause it to become a glider to be able to go on these hot wind uplifts, to be able to, as they move from plateau to plateau, almost seeming as if real ravens flying. The leader turning back around, most of them, you'll notice, are not as well dressed as he is. His particular cape and garment covered in feathers, iridescently sheened, but very black and dark as they go down until the edges seem to be an amber in color, almost as if dipped in gold, yet not. I am a good chief hunter, and this is the Thundering Raven tribe.
I think Nero will bow and say, "Well met. I am called Nero, and these my compatriots, of whom you may have, heard is probably very generous, but smelt may be apt for at least one of our number. We are grateful for your hospitality."
Kona gives some kind of a traditional thank you gesture, whether that be like a hand up and like a bow or something like that. It's whatever she thinks would be appropriate here, and she probably is kind of keenly aware that they seem to be using some magic or something, right? Like there's something spiritual about the what they're doing. These she's looking for like signs of nefarious things at work. She's just kind of like suspicious of the whole tribe a little bit, but she's trying to put forward the outward appearance that she's totally comfortable and she's very welcoming of their help, but she's actually quite suspicious.
Okay, Ezra had a short moment of shock during this transition because he was afraid that we go over into the burning beyond. He realized that this is not the case, is a bit irritated because he feels this energy of the place too, and is again a short moment not sure if he's in reality, if you how you call it, or if this is the burning beyond, and he takes a second to remain calm, and then he does the same, showing a gesture of greeting, surely a different gesture than Kona did, but he wants to be polite, and he's very aware that this is the chief of this tribe and that he has to show respect for this place and for this people.
Yeah, and in a way, I'm kind of looking for like a shaman too. That's like the other thing I'm looking around for. Did he say he was a shaman?
Yes,
Yeah, okay. Then she's found it. Okay.
he gives in greeting. Our hospitality is your hospitality. You guys can hear a little bit of a drumming, almost like a signaling of like and like the people there are kind of coming forth and kind of coming closer around you. Obviously, a message of a greeting, a message of newcomers being told. Now, pardon my boldness, but I do believe that our dear sheriff is needing some medicinal attention, as well as several of you others, and looks directly at Nero.
Yeah, I think Nero will.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we may have lost just a connection issue there. Perhaps they'll drop and come back. We'll send them a message. Yeah, it looks like they
Pretty funny freeze frame.
Yeah, it's just
While we go ahead and get this taken care of, we are coming up close to our first break. Should we go ahead and do that as they reconnect?
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. My internet had a hiccup.
No worries.
Looks good.
Yeah, no, I think Nero will say, yes, we will be very grateful. And like, I kind of, certainly, I am in dire need.
You have come face to face with one of the wolves in sheep's clothing.
And a wolf he was in the burning beyond. I escaped him at great cost, I'm not afraid to say.
Is Kona's the only one
Discussion can be had. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just noticing I still have an injury from the scorpion encounter. So I'm thinking my character would notice if others are injured too during that, but she's just kind of like begrudgingly just kind of nods like, yeah, I need help too.
Yeah.
I believe all of you actually have an injury.
Those scorpions kicked their ass.
Uh-huh.
Not even a challenge, but the scorpion.
We thought we were going to handle them very quick, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little
Yeah,
rough.
Ezra has injuries too. Maybe he's not that aware of it, but he feels that this is the place, the exactly right place to heal them, to do something about it. The sense of loneliness.
There is several of the tribe that will come forward and guide you guys towards one of the more permanent structures. And you'll notice that this is not just teepees and everything. There are long houses and stuff built here. The teepees seem to be more of like on the outer plateaus, whereas like the main center one is the one with like the more permanent structures. The biggest long house being partially made of wood, hides, and it appears almost as if a massive skeleton of something that died there. Its rib cage sitting directly there, the bones of the ribs coming out, and that is where the wood and hide and whatnot are from. So kind of like it provides the scaffolding structure of the main longhouse. And this one is probably over 100 feet long, this main one here. They kind of take you to one of the smaller ones, about 50 feet long, a little bit smaller. These ones made completely of wood. You see several braziers kind of like set up as like heat, giving off heat. You will notice is a lot cooler in here with gusts of hot wind that come in, seeming to come up from the updrafts of below.
I mean, Kona might comment something about that, just like, nice builders you have here.
Some of them sign back and forth to each other, and then another one translates. Yes, those were built by our ancestors.
Oh, she blinks heavily at this, and she kind of cocks her head to the side and looks at the stuff. Does she see any like machined items? You know, anything that looks like metal machined? You know, like screws, things like that.
Not screws, so to speak. if they have any of that, it's all probably more like a square nail or like a wooden peg. Most, and for clarification for our audience, I am going to go out of character just for a quick, brief second. I am Northwest Pacific Indigenous and heritage, and so I'm basing some of that and like what I viewed as a child to this situation. It could be very different based on your table. So back into character. Here it's more of wooden pegs and things like that. Probably only the one side of this certain plateau seems like it's a lot more moisture. Things seem a little bit more damp, so like it's covered in copper. So like those wooden pegs have like a copper coating and whatnot over the top of them to protect them. Some like copper siding or shingles or something to help the water run off and go into rain barrels and things.
Yeah, but I think the
But that's
illusion.
usually only prevalent on like one aspect.
Yeah, I think the thing that Kona's looking out for is any signs of things that are like a little too advanced, which would maybe indicate some Hellstone type stuff, and that's so she knows kind of she wants to find out more about the Hellstone, and also she's looking for her brother, right? So she's kind of looking for a clue that she could ask a question about that here, and if there are users of the Hellstone, she's trying to find out like by looking. You know.
You don't necessarily see remnants of Hellstone here. It seems like compared to Mudwater itself, it's a very distinct lack of Hellstone. There are so like when some Hellstone is discovered, it has like an outer casing. There are some aspects of that refuse, because that is usually always discarded, that is being used in some of the braziers because it burns longer than coal. But other than that, there seems to be no other signs of any of the Hellstone.
Maybe if anything, they're hiding it or they're just not putting it on display. Because
It could.
There's rumors, I think, right? There's like maybe some rumors that she's heard about the Thunder tribe. So she just kind of quietly keeps to herself, but she's watching everything again just as suspiciously. And she notices that the builder remark led her to them talking about the ancient, the elders or whatever, that their ancestors. So she just kind of like gives it admiration, the just admiration. Gives another compliment or two and hopes that they translate, but she's otherwise she's just trying to inspect without seeming suspicious herself.
Go ahead and make me a fortune roll of this, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, let's see. A good trait for that, maybe the survey, I guess.
It is how you feel that Kona would go best about this.
Yeah, she's not doing anything supernatural yet, so she's probably surveying.
Sensing trouble before it happens, that seems to fit very well into that.
Yeah, okay. So I'll make a fortune. No bonus.
Hey, we're rolling well today.
Hey.
That is a 6. Okay.
So as you get ready to enter this longhouse, this one seeming to be the one that's more so lined with the copper and everything, more on the water side of this particular plateau. The door gets opened. You can see that there's a lot of steam and everything coming out. This is probably one of their sweat lodges, something that helps the cleansing of the body and soul at the same time. And
cleansing again.
you kind of like look off to the edge of the plateau, and you'll notice that there is a very long house that's almost built into the side of the plateau on the opposite side, like more into the wall of the cavern itself. And you can see like almost as if sitting on a roost, about 10 or 12 mechanical birds.
Oh, yeah.
And these are not normal sized birds. These are 10 to 15 feet sitting on a perch, tall mechanical birds.
Whoa.
How are they hiding those? Okay.
It's kind of like tucked in, and it was only from this particular angle with the front face. It kind of seems like it's propped up at the moment, but you can tell that whatever cover that they normally have appears to also have like a rock face. So like when the door is closed, you actually can't see that this building is there.
She's gonna grin a bit as she heads into the medicine lodge, much happier about her situation. She's secure in the fact that she might be able to ask the others some details that would lead her towards more info, right, about this Hellstone mystery she has in her life, and maybe about the Hellstone they picked up recently.
So you guys are technically in downtime actions, and the tribe offering a respite of all of your guys' injuries and everything before talks begin. This might be a good time. I'm not going to say normally healing is done as part of a downtime, but I'm kind of sort of messing with that a little bit. I'm going to say that the tribe assists you. So if you guys want to go ahead and do a group healing roll.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Based on bathing, a little bit of healing and ointments and things put on your wounds. You guys are dressed, your clothes, you notice, are being washed at the end of the sauna, essentially, and you guys are all given garments to wear for the rest of the evening.
Nice.
Yeah, so we ended the fight with the twins, so we're not at war and not in a hurry, I think.
Made it to the hot spring or the sweatland.
Nice.
So do we roll here, or do we just? You said group heal roll. Does that mean someone is going to roll?
Everyone rolls.
Okay.
So what are we rolling? Just that here?
So on each of your sheets, over by your harm section, you have a healing clock, and you can actually just hit healing, and then it'll be the number of dice. You guys are. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, the quality of the healing sounds very high quality to me.
You're right. I mean, they're a tier 3 faction. They are literally as powerful as it gets here, right?
And they volunteered.
Yes, but you guys are tier 0, so I am going to remove 1 die. So you guys get to roll 2 dice for your healing.
Okay, sounds fair.
Hey, all of us rolled really well.
Very nice. Those 6s out of the way now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So 6 counts for all of us? Or
almost. It was half of you rolled 6s.
Oh, it's like we're all getting a free recovery roll, basically.
Correct.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. Nice. So no downtime activity lost there?
Nope.
Nice.
Okay, very cool.
And I will say with that, as you guys go ahead and adjust that, we are going to go to our first break, and we'll be back here in a few minutes.
Nice.